We are entering into a marketplace where selling a home in the Fraser Valley or Lower Mainland is getting difficult, and it's likely going to get a little more difficult. We have been spoiled over the last few years and generally over the last decade in the Lower Mainland to see house sales just completely popping off. Everybody was making money on the sale of their properties, and equity generally was going up because the prices were going up. You've heard the phrase that all good things must come to an end, and it looks like we are at the end of that sort of marketplace. We have seen sales come down of real estate across Canada by about 12%, and in the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board, we're down about 35%, which is a pretty substantial drop. In this video today, if you have your home for sale and are struggling to sell it, I'm going to share with you the 4 things it takes to be successful in a home sale, what you need to watch out for, and if you're struggling, how to get it done. If that sounds good to you, let's go for a ride. I'm going to show you all about it. Let's go. What's good, everybody? It's Darin Germyn from the Germyn Group, where we know you've only got one chance to buy or sell your next home, so we're here to help you get it right. Make sure to smash that subscribe button down below, because not only is that going to help you get notified whenever a new video is released weekly, but it's also going to help other nice people like you find our channel and get great information about Surrey real estate and surrounding areas. We are trying super hard to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of July, so help us do that, and I'll make you a deal. If the content is good, keep watching, and if it sucks, unsubscribe. And lastly, don't forget to check the description below. We've got a couple awesome PDFs down there for anybody that's either buying or selling your home. You do not want to miss these because they're full of good information. All right, let's go. So there's no doubt, selling a home just got a lot more difficult in the Fraser Valley, and the reason being is kind of trifold. Number one, we're coming off crazy high sales volume and crazy high price increases. So that's probably the first factor, but unless you're living under a rock, you're also very aware likely that the mortgage rates have almost doubled in about the last 2 months. So this is adding pressure to buyers because they can no longer afford the type of homes they used to be able to, and it's costing them more money to borrow the same amount of funds. And the last factor that is really not helping things is the media is starting to get a hold of this information. And as they push that out to the public, it is kind of like putting gasoline on a fire and making it blow up probably a lot bigger than it really needs to be. So what are we seeing in practice? What are we seeing out there in the field? Well, number one, days on market is definitely climbing. We're seeing homes starting to sit around much longer. We're also starting to see full conditions come back. So this is where a buyer would make an offer on a property and they would tie it up for a week or more typically, and able to do their due diligence on the property, like make sure they can get their mortgage, do a home inspection, review strata documentation, and whatever else might be appropriate for that particular property. One of the bigger challenges sellers are having is they are eyeing yesterday's prices. The market seemed to be at its hottest in about February or March generally of this year. And it was more so that people were probably overpaying for properties at that point, less so that the market has really come down, but the numbers are certainly different nonetheless. People were putting offers on homes that were absolutely insane in those times. And naturally, sellers are kind of looking at those numbers and thinking, well, if they can get that, why can't I? But problem is, times have changed. It's not March anymore. I'm going to simplify the home selling process down for you in this video and explain the 4 things it takes to be successful for a home sale. If you're following along, the 4 things include access to the home itself, the price of the home, and the exposure of the home. Let's start with the easy one. Having access to the home is so critical to a home sale because if people can't get into it, they're probably not going to buy it. Now, there are things like 3-dimensional tours. We actually use these on our real estate team, and they are wonderful for making sure we're having better qualified people actually come in and look at the property. Yet anybody that's ever maybe sold a tenanted property where they had really tough times trying to get people actually to be able to come in and actually take a look at the property physically, it makes it really difficult. So if you're being challenged with access, or you're not being good getting people into your home because you're getting inconvenient times and whatnot, they need to be able to get in to buy the property. So that's the first part. The home itself is next on our list. Just like when people are buying absolutely anything, they want the best value for their money, and they are looking at your property through the eyes of a buyer, meaning they have no special ties to your home. They just want, again, the best value for their money. So how your home looks, shows, and presents matters. That means if there's towels on the bed and laundry everywhere, when people show up, they're not going to like it. It also means if the house is dirty when people arrive, or it's unkept, they're not going to like it. And it also means that the upgrades and characteristics that you've done to the home really matter. If you have a bathroom that hasn't been updated since before the 1980s, then other homes that have updates that you don't are likely going to sell first because they offer more value to that buyer. There's a little bit of an insight here that sellers have to be very careful with, and it is the "my home is so special" syndrome. A seller lives in their home, they make a decision on it for their own personal reasons, but oftentimes they think their home is very, very special and much more special than the average other homes in the area. While all homes are unique, characteristically, they're all fairly similar, and they've all got their little quirks and they've all got their bonuses. But a lot of the times buyers are weighing much more than just single factors when buying a home. They're looking at the whole picture. So these "I'm so special" type home sellers need to get over that your home likely, honestly, isn't that special. The next one on our list is price. And price is always the awkward one for a seller to discuss because nobody wants to think that their home is worth less than what they initially hope. To frame it in a little bit of a different lens, it's no different than selling a stock. Because housing is somewhat of a commodity, people are watching the housing market very similar as to how they're watching stocks. We're currently experiencing a stock market where, unfortunately, every day if you open an app on your phone looking at your stock portfolio, it's been going down relatively consistently. And if people start feeling the same way about housing, that means that the prices can move down just like they move up. I know I just blew the minds of some of you watching that housing prices can come down. Yes, it's true. It happens. We are not immune to it in the Lower Mainland. We're not immune to it in Canada. We're not immune to it in BC. It happens. Of course, prices come down. As a seller, you need to be able to understand that while your home is characteristically similar to all these other homes, the price matters. And this whole notion that people will just come in and make offers if your price is way higher than other similar homes just makes absolutely no sense. Buyers are back to a marketplace where they have choice. They are able to shop, and they're going to shop to get the best value for their buck. The fourth and final key to getting your home sold is the exposure. When you work with a real estate professional, you're going to want to make extra sure that the home is in every single area that it needs to be to effectively market, promote, and sell that home. Now, while what I just said could mean various things, meaning you can put the home in all sorts of areas and do all sorts of things for marketing, you also need to understand it doesn't mean some things. As an example, when the market gets difficult, a home seller will ask us if we are marketing the property in the local high school newspaper. Now, obviously, that's a joke. That's not necessarily 100% what they ask us, but it gets the point across that the answer is likely no, because that's not where people go to look for real estate. You want to have a conversation with your real estate professional that the home is being marketed in the areas to make it effective. So let's pull back the curtain a little bit further now that we know the 4 things it takes to sell a home, and let's look at what is controlled by you, the seller, and what is controlled by your real estate professional. As you can see on this table, exposure is the only thing that a real estate professional can control. The other 3 areas that are critical to getting a home sold are up to the seller. I want to introduce you now to a theory that is used in science and economics called Occam's razor. This will totally clear up many misconceptions that sellers have when selling their home because they want to point fingers at everybody except for themselves. Occam's razor is a principle stated by the scholastic philosopher William of Occam, who lived a long time ago. The principle gives precedence to simplicity. Of two competing theories, the simpler explanation of an entity is to be preferred. Simply put, if it's the simplest and most obvious answer, that likely is the culprit. Here's an example. You go to bed late one night only to wake up and hear some rustling in your garbage cans outside. Your mind could think of a million things of what might that be. However, what are the chances it's either A, a raccoon, or B, a python? While both answers could be true, the likelihood that it's a python is really, really slim because it just doesn't make a lot of sense. So the best guess is that it's likely a raccoon. How does this tie into selling your home? Well, let's think about selling your home again from the lens of a home buyer. They want the best value for their dollar, and they want the most home and the best kept home for their money. Most homes honestly don't experience access issues, and most homes are exposed relatively effectively. Sure, there's other areas it could be exposed, but if it's in the really big areas and the bulk of people are seeing it, using Occam's razor, it probably boils down to one of two things: the home itself or the price. The interesting thing about those two remaining options is they both can kind of cancel each other out. As an example, the home itself, if buyers don't see enough value when they visit, you can correct that by adjusting the price to make it feel better and be a better value when they arrive. If you wanted the home itself to get closer to the price that you want, that means you need to improve it. A silly example would be paving the floors in gold. You've now added value to the property, which is going to help push the price higher. Pending you're not willing to pave everything in gold in your home, you can also correct any problems with the home itself by correcting the price and bringing it to a more intelligent value that the marketplace sees as fair or reasonable. To sum it up, everyone, buying a home is kind of like dating. Now, while it's been a long time since I've been on the market in terms of dating anyway, a lot of home buyers are sitting on their couch right now, swiping left or swiping right, looking at properties. They are looking at the whole picture of what you offer when you put your home for sale. And if you are not offering enough value for the dollar that you're asking, they've got choice now, and they're simply gonna go look, view, and buy the other homes that offer better value to them. And that's it. That's how buyers make decisions. Now you know the 4 critical areas you need to absolutely shine in to get your home sold. Now, speaking of getting a home sold, be sure to check out the link below if you want to book time with us to learn more about how to be successful in this changing market. We've also got our newest PDF, the Falling Market Survival Guide. We just created this. It's for today's market conditions on how sellers can be successful in getting their home sold and still get absolute top dollar. That, among another PDF for the buyers, is linked below. That's it for today's video, guys. Again, I'm Darin with the Germyn Group, where we know you've only got one chance to sell your home, so we're here to help you get it right. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next video.